Alright, for those of you who have been with me since my first video, probably remember that I said something along the lines of decks that interest me don't come around very often, maybe only once every 3 or 4 years. But I think the next deck, the deck of the Reigns era that interests me, has finally been revealed. It's Guardragons, or Shugoryu. Its TCG name is pretty much confirmed to be Guardragons since it's the same word used in World Chalice Guardragon. And yeah, the World Chalice guys have just been getting their own archetypes systematically set out the set. World Chalice Guardragon didn't disappoint, got an archetype, and it's all dragons. So far there have been 11 cards announced, 4 main deck monsters, 4 spell traps, and 3 link monsters, all in Savage Strike. So that's the set after the set which we're getting a sneak preview this weekend for. But yeah, honestly the 8 main deck cards are all pretty lackluster, but the 3 link monsters are very interesting. So yeah, let's just go over each of these 11 cards and what my initial impression of them are, and what kind of combo or playstyle that I'm thinking about. Hopefully it makes an interesting video for you guys. It's definitely pretty interesting for me. So the first monster, Lustia, is the water one. It's a vanilla tuner, level 2, 0 attack, 2100 defense. It's pretty sad really, because we already have Galaxy Serpent, which is a level 2 vanilla dragon tuner, which means outside of this deck, this card would have pretty much no additional uses that wasn't already fulfilled by Galaxy Serpent. Maybe to make some synchro that needs a water tuner. There are a couple of them, but you know, it mostly overlaps with what Galaxy Serpent already does. But yeah, not much to talk about. This is a vanilla. The Earth guy is called Garmedes, level 3, 1600 attack, 1000 defense. It has 2 effects, both hard once per turn. The first one is if a normal monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this from your hand. The second one is if this is in your graveyard, you can send 1 dragon from your hand to the graveyard to add this to your hand. So the immediate synergy we see here is if this is in your graveyard, you can discard the water one, add this back to your hand, and then special summon it. So kind of like a dragon type junk forward that's much more convoluted. The third guy, Fire one, Promenesis, level 1, 500 attack, 200 defense, 2 effects. The second one is hard once per turn, the first one is not. Appropriate considering how bad the first effect is. But yeah, the first effect is you can send this from your hand or face up on your field to the graveyard. Target 1 dragon monster you control against 500 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's not even a quick effect. Like even if it's a quick effect, it would still be pretty bad. Maybe they wanted to avoid people using it with rocket monsters or something, I don't know. But like, yeah, I have no idea how you would use this. Maybe you could target a Heretic Dragon of Nuit or something at best. Its second effect is alright. Hard once per turn. If a normal monster is sent to the graveyard while this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this, but banish it if it leaves the field. It's kind of like a Chi one. So if you have the Fire one and the Earth one in your graveyard, you can discard the Water one and pretty much special summon both of them. The last main deck monster is Andrake, the Wind one. This might be Imerduk grown up. I don't know. They're both winds and they're both Guardragons, so you know, they probably have something to do with each other. But it's the boss monster of the deck, or so they intend it to be the boss monster of their deck, I think. It's 2000 attack, 600 defense, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a card effect, so same restrictions as Cyframes, you can't even pendulum summon it. It has 2 different hard once per turn effects. The first one is if it's special summoned from the hand or deck, double its original attack and defense until the end of the next turn. The second one is if it's summoned from the grave or banished zone, you can pop a monster your opponent controls. Just looking at these 11 cards, this seems like it would be the intended win condition for the deck, since the link monsters, they summon dragons from, you know, hand, deck, grave, banish. Like that's what the link monsters do. And they probably want you to summon this, pop a monster and attack directly for 4k or something like that. But yeah, this card is not very good. Well, none of these 4 monsters are very good, but this is probably the worst one. Like the second effect, it pops monsters your opponent controls. Like even if it said it popped a card on the field, it would still not be that good. It's just like needless restrictions in addition to like the 3 other restrictions this card already has. But yeah, we'll get to the link monsters last since there's a lot I want to talk about there. But the spell traps, the first spell is a field spell. 2 different effects. The first effect can only be used like hard once per turn. The second effect is a soft once per turn. The first effect, you can target 1 dragon you control until the end of your opponent's turn against attack and defense equal to the combined link rating of all link monsters on the field, which is most likely gonna be not much. Even if you're the man and you made an extra link with 5 link 4s like Revolver did on the show, that's only plus 2000. That's like nothing. And it's a hard once per turn as well. The second one, and there has to be a link monster on the field as well for you to use this. So this can't even be like a free method to trigger like Heretic Dragon of Nua or something. The second effect, once per turn, if exactly 1 dragon monster you control and no other cards would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard instead. So it's a destruction replacement effect that doesn't even protect everything at the same time, like Gospel of the Dragon Lords or Zephyr Providence does. Sending 1 normal monster, that's alright. It triggers your Earth guy and your Fire guy, but like it's opponent dependent and you don't even get that much out of it when they do trigger it. So yeah, this field spell is probably the worst card there is out of the 11. The next spell is a continuous spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this name per turn. So it's similar to Oracle of Zephyr or like Tenki. And it also has a main effect and a bonus effect like those cards as well. The main effect is when it's activated, you can reborn a level 4 lower dragon from your graveyard or add it to your hand. Yeah, there aren't many you would rather add to your hand. Maybe like Tematon, that dragon hand trap. But yeah, it's most likely a reborn like kind of an extender kind of card. So yeah, it's alright. And it has a bonus effect. You can target a dragon you control, move it to another main monster zone once per turn. Yeah, it's nice to have. I don't think you need it for any of the combos. Well, I don't think it helps. It kind of helps some of your combos a bit, but you don't need it for any of your combos. You can just play smart around it. It's obviously just a free bonus effect to go with the main effect, which is the reborn. So this card's not bad. Next one, continuous trap card. Hard once per turn on its effect, which is you can send 1 effect monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon in defense position 1 level 4 or lower dragon normal monster from your hand, deck or graveyard. Yeah, the lack of restriction on what you can send, which is any effect monster, is kind of cool. You can send some, I don't know, like Tackle Crusaders or something and get a bit of disruption off that on your opponent's turn. But yeah, it's pretty slow since it's a trap. The last trap is a normal trap card. Tribute a dragon, pop 2 cards on the field. So it's like Icarus attack for dragons. It's nice how it says tribute. It has a bit of synergy with heretics that way. So yeah, the main deck monsters aren't really that efficient at putting link materials on the field for you to link summon. I mean, the earth one and the fire one not specifying where the normal monster has to come from is kind of nice. You can like Dragon Shrine dump a normal monster and then they summon themselves. You can, discard it from your hand and they summon themselves. Even if you discard it for a cost, like Twin Twisters, discard the vanilla, pop some back row, and then the earth one and the fire one will summon themselves. It can even go from the field to the graveyard. So if you normal summon the water one, link it off for a link spider, the earth one and the fire one would also special summon themselves. For the spell traps, apart from the field spell, which is completely useless, the other 3 has a bit of potential. If future support, there isn't any right now, but if future support allows you to search these spell traps, so if these spell traps become searchable, would all have some pretty decent uses. So obviously searching on Monster Reborn to extend your plays is always good. It's also worthy to note that the second effect is not a hard once per turn, even though you can only activate 1 of these per turn. But as the game goes on, and say if you have 3 of these, you can move 3 things every turn. The trap cards, the Icarus attack, searchable disruption, that would make it a very good card. Search it when you need it. The continuous trap, discard 1, summon 1, or send 1, summon 1. You know, I could see that being very important for Gumbler combos. If you go on to Gumbler for 4 instead of for 2, you need to be able to special summon something on your opponent's turn. So if you could search, you know, this and then do it on the standby phase, Gumbler for 4, I can see this card being used as well. But for now, the traps not being searchable aren't really worth it. Just the Reborn continuous spell card would probably be ran. But yeah, now to the main cards. So the 3 Link monsters, we have 2 Link 1s and a Link 2 revealed. All 3 of them has 3 restrictions. So all of them have a hard once per turn special summon clause, kind of like the Spiritual Beast and the Ritual Beast Tamers. All 3 of them, their second effect has a hard once per turn. So the second effect we'll go over later is the one that's different for each of them. And the third restriction, which is also their first effects, is you cannot special summon monsters except dragons. So pretty much as long as these are face up, you're limited to dragons only. If you want to summon non-dragons, I'm thinking cyber stuff, especially like Gumbler, Firewall, or Trigate, then you need to get rid of these. But you can only link into dragons. So I think that there are 2 things that's very important for the playability of this deck, is that Celestial Spheres has to be imported in Savage Strike or before that, and that Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon has to not be banned because their effects spam Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon pretty efficiently. Now Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is actually on the hot seat to getting banned, since Konami seems to be avoiding banning a Firewall Dragon but banning everything associated with it. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon has been a long time accomplice of Firewall Dragon FTKs, especially if Celestial Spheres is released, since it's pretty much just the dragon version of Grand Soil. So yeah, that's actually a big danger for this deck, the legality of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. But anyways, all 3 of them has these 3 restrictions. Let's get on to the effects. So all 3 of them are dark. The first one is Alpay 1000 attack. Link 1, it's link arrow points left, and it lets you summon a dragon from your hand or deck to a zone on the field that 2 or more link monsters points to. The next one is Pisty, also 1000 attack, it's arrow points right, and its effect lets you summon a dragon from your grave or banished to a zone that 2 or more link monsters points to. The third one is the Link 2, which has 1500 attack, its arrows is top and bottom, and it lets you summon a dragon from your extra deck to a zone that 2 or more link monsters point to. The 2 Link 1s, they require 1 level 4 or lower dragon to make. The Link 2 requires just any 2 dragons to make. So my initial thoughts on the combos this deck can do is that you need something that points bottom left and bottom right, and then you summon Alpay and Pisty to those 2 zones so that they're both pointing to the same zone that's directly under your link that points bottom left and bottom right. That way you can special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal from your deck to that zone, and then Red Eyes Darkness Metal reborns a dragon from your graveyard and you can do stuff with that. Then you link off the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon into something, I don't know. But the main thing is to free up that zone. Now that Pisty can reborn the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to that zone, and then Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon can reborn another dragon from the graveyard and you can do stuff with that. And then you want to link the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon off into something else and try and summon Agapane to the extra monster zone directly above that. And then you can summon some cool extra monster dragons into that zone. Now I went over my dragon collection to find some cool extra deck dragon monsters you can special summon with this effect. Azure Eyes Silver Dragon is pretty cool, protects all your dragons. Blue Eye Spirit Dragon is pretty cool. It negates graveyard effects, stops cards like Soul Charge, Pendulum Summoning for 2 or more, and then it can tribute itself to summon Azure Eyes. That's pretty cool. Of course you can, tribute itself to summon Moonlight Rose Dragon, bounce a card, decent disruption. You can also summon Coral Dragon, which is pretty cool because if you link it off or synchro with it, you get to draw a card. Super Alloy Beast Raptornus is always a fun card. Infinite loops with Gigaplants and stuff. As for, boss monsters, that negate things, you got stuff like Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend Abyss. Number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Its spell negating effect doesn't need materials. Odd Ice Vortex Dragon. All the card that's getting released in the same set. Borrow Load Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss are probably the better lockdown cards. Vortex is alright. It has an application when it's not the first turn, in that it can bounce a card. So that's a pretty decent application. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon has a self-honesting effect against level 5 or higher monsters. So that, you know, has some applications there as well. Of course, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss can summon a tuner after it kills something, which is also pretty good. Yeah, these are all of the negate options. You can also summon high link rating monsters, things like Borrow Load, Borrow Sword, Borrow Guard, especially Borrow Sword. You know, this is a quick and easy way to win a game just by damage alone. You can also go for the link 3s, so things like 3 Burst Dragon or Vorticular Drum Gun, which sets you up for higher link summons. So, you know, 3+1 makes a lot of cool things like Firewall Dragon or Topologic Gumbler Dragon, which aren't dragons that you can summon directly, but if you can summon a link 3, you can easily make these guys. Of course, after you get rid of all of the Guardragon link monsters, which are restricting you to dragons only. But yeah, other cool things you can summon. King Dragoon gives all your dragons targeting protection, as well as letting you summon a dragon out from your hand to extend combos. If you summon any rank 8 galaxy, you can overlay it for number 95 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. Dumping 3 dragons seemed like a pretty good extender play to me. Dragoonid like Guardragons is a pretty good extender type dragon to summon as well of this. Except since it's not properly synchro summoned, you can't revive it with Red Eyes Darkness Metal. And since you're summoning Red Eyes Darkness Metal at least twice, maybe more times in that one turn, you kind of want a properly synchro summoned Guardragons in your graveyard if you're comboing off that way. But yeah, these are kind of the main extra deck dragon monsters I found in my collection that you can summon off Agapane. I also mentioned that these 4 main deck Guardragons are probably not the most efficient way to go into these combos that I just mentioned. So I also dug around in my dragon collection and I found a couple of cool dragons. Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Weatherbuster. These are pretty good. You link them off and you search the other one and you can summon the other one and then link it off and search the other one. And they're both level 4 lower dragons. So yeah, they seem pretty decent. Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm is really good. It's just a dragon you can summon off Foolish Burial for free or off Dragon Shrine. Like, you could even fit these combos into, you know, Zephyrs, like the deck I'm currently using. You just Foolish a Dark Worm, summon it back, search your Gate 0, normal summon another Dark Worm, go into Electrum, do your Electrum stuff, Scales, Pendulum summon both Dark Worms, turn 1 into Alpay, turn 1 into Pisty, and then you just went into the combo that way. Destrudo is another good card here. So say if you have the Earth one and the Fire one in your graveyard and you top deck a Dragon Shrine, you can Dragon Shrine, dump the Water one or any vanilla dragon, which lets you dump another one like the Destrudo. Both the Earth one and the Fire one are gonna summon themselves, and then you Destrudo target your level 3 Earth one, so it comes back as a level 4, and there you just have a level 4 or lower dragon that you can summon Alpay or Pisty with. In a Dragoonid deck, this could work as well. So if you summon Barcher and Barcher for 3, like 3 Dragoonid Kus or Phalanxes, that's a pretty big combo right there. Since the rest of the world is getting Summon Sorceress before the set is released, we can talk about Summon Sorceress combos. So Summon Sorceress is another good way to get a second dragon onto the field. So if you just have a Summon Sorceress and 1 dragon, you can get the second dragon. 1 dragon makes the Alpay, the other one makes the Pisty. So if you like say you Barcher for 3, summon all of them, turn Barcher and 2 of them into a Summon Sorceress. Summon Sorceress targets your remaining dragon and summons another dragon from the deck. That's, you know, Alpay and Pisty right there. If you summon a dragon that has a cool graveyard effect that gives you pluses, that's even better. So something like World Chalice Guardragon has a graveyard effect to summon a vanilla from the graveyard. So if you pull that out of your deck with Summon Sorceress, you just get a free extender on top of your extender. But yeah, other ways to summon level 4 dragon to go into the combo. Quick Launch, so you can mix this deck with rockets. Quick Launch is just the E-tally for rockets, and they're all level 4 or lower. I think they're all level 4 or lower. There might be like, yeah, I don't know. But most of them are level 4 or lower, at least, to go into the combo with. The reason that I say that Celestial Spheres is so important here is that if the monster that points bottom left and bottom right in your extra monster zone is a dragon, that makes it a lot easier to summon Agapane into your extra monster zone, because you can use the dragon in your extra monster zone to summon it into the extra monster zone. And that just makes it really easy to point to a zone that two things are pointing to, like right behind it. If you're forced to summon Agapane to the main monster zone right behind the extra monster zone, that makes it a bit more awkward, because there's not many cards that point diagonally up, like left or right, because you need one of those along with your Agapane, which points directly up, so that they're both pointing to the extra monster zone to trigger Agapane. Now, it'll probably get more and more viable, that line of play, when we get more link monsters. But yeah, if you're forced to summon Agapane in the main monster zone, it seems like more hassle than if you can summon it in the extra monster zone. Also, Celestial Spheres is the only Link 2 generic. Currently, all of the other Dragon Link 2s are not generic. Most of them needs 2 rocket monsters, and you also have Twin Triangle Dragon, which requires 2 level 4 or lower dragons. In other words, you can't use the Guardragon Link monsters to go into that guy to shut off your dragon restriction. But yeah, the good thing is that all of these are darks, which means you can easily summon Vorticular Drum Gun with them, which is just a nice Link 3, gives you a free draw. Free draws are always nice. Yeah, and it'll shut off all of your dragon restrictions. Another cool thing to note, when Link monsters, like Link 2s that point directly down and diagonally down comes out, so things like Cyber Switch or Clock Spartoy, like those kind of Link arrows except generic comes out, it'll probably help this deck quite a bit, because now you can do it, without a Link 2 or 3 at the top and 1 on each side, which costs 4 or 5 monsters. You can just do it with 3. You just summon that one with the directly down and diagonally down, pointing to Alpay. Alpay summons the Red Eyes Darkness Metal from your deck, and then you can just use the Red Eyes Darkness Metal dragon to go into the Pisty, which extends your combo. But yeah, just from like what I'm seeing right now, you should be able to summon at least 3 boss monsters with the right setup if you get into the Alpay Pisty stage. Although it has to be said that Ash on Alpay does seem like it'll be pretty annoying, because Ash on Alpay, you can't just make another Alpay and then do it again or something like that, because you can only summon 1 per turn, and its effect is also hard once per turn. And if that gets stopped and Red Eyes Darkness Metal didn't come out, your Pisty is kind of shit as well, because yeah, you won't be reviving Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which revives something else. You'll be reviving something not as good. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts on this deck, what it could do and what I kind of want it to do. I probably missed out a lot, so yeah, if I missed out something obvious, do tell me about it. I really want to make this deck viable. Hopefully it's another one of those decks I can play competitively for 3 or 4 years. And yeah, hopefully it gets some more awesome support in future sets as well, which make all of the cards that I said were pretty bad, which is like everything in the main deck that's being revealed so far, make those like more viable so that it can be a deck of its own.